Have you ever felt a sudden warmth of faith in a moment when you were completely alone and then wondered if something unseen just reached you? And have you ever asked yourself, why do people can chant the same words and do the same practice, yet one becomes softer and wiser while the other becomes more anxious and obsessed? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are stepping into a topic that many people are curious about but rarely discuss with real discernment. The mystery of divine touch, the secret of sadhana, the idea of connecting to a deity energy. Some people treat this as superstition. Others treat it as a shortcut to power. But the deeper path is neither denial nor obsession. The deeper path is awakening. Compassion, practice, destiny. Those are not abstract words. They are the real ground that decides whether any spiritual method becomes medicine or becomes another cage. Let me tell you a story, because this topic can easily become a pile of concepts unless we bring it back to lived experience. There was a man named Chiron who had grown tired of his own mind. He was not lazy. He was not stupid. He was capable and responsible. But he was exhausted by one thing that never stopped: the inner commentary, the constant judging, the constant planning, the constant scanning for threat, the constant hunger to be seen as someone who matters. On the outside, his life looked stable. On the inside, he felt like he was carrying a heavy stone in his chest. It was not always painful. Sometimes it was just numb. But even numbness is a form of suffering because it blocks joy. Chiron grew up around spiritual culture, not necessarily deep practice, but the atmosphere of it. Temples, prayers, songs, stories of saints. When he was a child, these things felt magical. As he grew older, he became skeptical. He saw hypocrisy. He saw people pray and still lie. He saw devotees argue, gossip, and harm each other. He thought maybe spirituality is just another social mask. Then a personal crisis arrived. Not a dramatic headline event, but something that cracks the inner floor. A relationship ended in a way that felt humiliating. Not because the other person was evil, but because it revealed Chiron's hidden dependence. He realized he had been using love as anesthesia. He used affection to quiet his fear. And when the relationship ended, the fear returned louder than ever. He tried distractions. He tried new plans. He tried new goals. Nothing held. The mind kept returning to the same questions. Why do I feel empty? Why do I feel unworthy? Why do I keep repeating pattern? What is wrong with me? One evening, while walking near a small community hall, he heard chanting. The sound was not performance quality. It was imperfect, human, but it carried a sincerity that made him pause. He walked inside quietly and sat near the back. A woman was speaking after the chant. Her voice was calm, but there was strength in it. Not force, not charisma, but steadiness. She spoke about sadhana as a relationship, not a transaction, not a technique to get what you want. A relationship where you offer your attention, your ethics, your sincerity, your humility, and in return you receive something that cannot be bought: inner transformation. She used a phrase that stuck in Chiron's mind. Divine touch is not an event that proves you are chosen. Divine touch is the moment your heart stops lying. Chiron felt something stir, not excitement, something quieter, like a door that had been closed for years finally opening a little. After the talk, Chiron waited and approached her. He asked a blunt question: is connecting to a deity energy real, or is it just psychology? She did not laugh. She did not get defensive. She said, if you want truth, do not start with belief. Start with practice. Practice will show you what is real in you. And what is real in you is the only doorway to what is real beyond you. Then she asked him a question that felt like a needle. Why do you want it to be real? Chiron answered honestly, because I want something to save me. She nodded. She said, that is the most human answer. But if you make the divine into a rescue fantasy, you will remain a child in your heart. Real practice does not remove your responsibility. It deepens it. Real grace does not replace your effort. It purifies your effort. She invited him to return the next week. Chiron came back. Then again. Slowly he began learning what sadhana actually means when it is not treated like superstition. He learned that practice begins with intention. Not vague intention like I want peace, but clean intention like I want to reduce harm. I want to see clearly. I want to stop feeding my own ignorance. I want to cultivate compassion even when it is inconvenient. The teacher explained that in many devotional traditions, a deity is not only a mythic figure, it is also a mirror, a symbol of qualities you are trying to awaken in yourself. Courage, wisdom, compassion, purity, steadiness, fierce honesty, tender love. When you focus on those qualities again and again, your mind begins to reorganize. This is where the Buddhist frame becomes extremely useful. Buddhism does not ask you to depend on external miracles. It asks you to understand cause and effect. If you repeat fear, fear becomes your default. If you repeat patience, patience becomes your default. If you repeat loving kindness, the heart becomes warmer. If you repeat restraint, the mind becomes clearer. A deity focus, when done wisely, can become a powerful anchor for this training. Not because the universe owes you favors, but because your mind becomes disciplined. Chiron began practicing simple daily sadhana. He would sit at dawn before the world got loud. He would light a small lamp and sit quietly. He would chant a short mantra slowly. He would not chase visions. He would not beg for proof. He would simply offer attention. At first, nothing dramatic happened. In fact, the first thing he noticed was resistance, boredom, restlessness, doubt. The mind would say this is pointless. The mind would say you are pretending. The mind would say you should be doing something productive. The teacher told him this would happen. She said the mind does not like discipline at first because discipline threatens its addiction. The mind is addicted to distraction, to controlling narratives. When you begin practice, you are removing its favorite toys. Of course it will complain. Chiron stayed with it. After 2 weeks he noticed a small change. When he chanted, his breath became slower. When his breath became slower, his thoughts became slightly less sharp. When his thoughts became slightly less sharp, he felt a small space inside. That space did not solve his life, but it changed the way he carried life. Then something happened that people might call divine touch, but it did not arrive the way Chiron expected. One morning he was chanting, and a memory came up. A memory of him hurting someone with words years ago, not accidentally. He had been arrogant. He wanted to win. He wanted to look superior. He remembered the other person's face, the way it fell, the way it hardened. Chiron felt shame rise like heat. Old Chiron would have pushed the memory away or justify it. He would have said they deserved it, or he would have drowned in self-hatred. Either way, he would have remained trapped. But, in that moment, something new happened. His chest softened. He felt the shame fully. But he did not turn it into violence against himself. He felt sorrow, not only for the other person, but for his own ignorance. He whispered a simple sentence without planning it. I was asleep. And then he whispered another. I want to wake up. Tears came. Not dramatic sobbing, just quiet tears. He felt as if something inside him that had been frozen for years finally melted. It did not feel like a thunderbolt from the sky. It felt like honesty entering the heart. Later, he told the teacher. She smiled gently and said, that is touch, not a sensation in the skin. A touch in the conscience. A touch that turns pride into humility. Chiron asked, but how do I know it is divine? She said, do not chase labels. Look at the fruit. Are you becoming less harmful? Are you becoming more truthful? Are you becoming more compassionate? If yes, then whatever touched you is aligned with awakening. From that day, Chiron practice changed. He stopped doing sadhana to escape pain. He started doing it to purify his relationship with pain. He stopped praying for life to be easy. He started praying for the strength to meet life with wisdom. Now, let us go deeper into what it means to connect with deity energy in a way that does not create obsession. The teacher explained that devotion has stages. At the beginning, devotion is often emotional. People want comfort. They want protection. They want signs. Then devotion becomes discipline. The practitioner learns consistency. They learn humility. They learn to show up even when they feel nothing. Then devotion becomes ethical. The practitioner realizes that chanting is useless if the tongue is cruel. Ritual is useless if the heart is greedy. Prayer is empty if the mind is full of hatred. So devotion begins to purify behavior. This is karma becoming conscious. Then devotion becomes wisdom. The practitioner begins to see the deity not only as external, but as a mirror of awakened qualities within. They begin to see that the real offering is ego. The real surrender is clinging. The real temple is attention. This is where Buddhist insight fits perfectly. When clinging reduces, suffering reduces. When ignorance reduces, compassion increases. When compassion increases, the whole life becomes a blessing to others. That is the highest spiritual power. Chiron kept practicing, and life kept testing him, because practice is not proven in silence alone. One day at work, a colleague accused him unfairly. Chiron felt anger rise. The old habit would have attacked back. He could feel the words forming. Sharp, clever, humiliating words. But he had been training. He felt the anger as heat in the chest and throat. He remembered his morning practice. He remembered the teacher words. Do not use your intelligence as a weapon. He paused. That pause was sadhana in action. He spoke firmly but without cruelty. He clarified facts. He did not insult. He did not smear. The conflict did not vanish instantly. But something changed. He did not poison himself with rage. Later, the colleague apologized quietly. Chiron felt a strange gratitude. Not gratitude for being accused, but gratitude for the chance to practice. He realized this is how destiny is shaped. Not by what happens, but by how you meet what happened. Now, many people hear about divine touch and they imagine a physical sensation. Warmth, tingling, pressure, dreams. These can happen, and they can be meaningful, but they can also be distraction. The mind can produce sensations through attention. The nervous system can react to breath and concentration. The imagination can produce images. None of these are automatic proof of awakening. So what is the safest way to relate to them? The teacher gave Chiron a simple rule. If an experience increases humility and kindness, it is useful. If an experience increases pride and obsession, it is poison. That rule saved him. Because one evening Chiron did have a strong experience. While chanting, he felt a wave of bliss and a sense of presence. As if the room was full of quiet light. He felt joyful. Then immediately the mind tried to grab it. The mind said, "Now you are special. Now you are advanced. Now you can tell people." He remembered the rule. He breathed. He said inwardly, "Not mine." He let it pass. The next morning he felt ordinary again. At first he was disappointed. Then he laughed softly. He realized he had almost turned grace into a trophy. This is an important point. The ego can use spirituality as a costume. It can become a spiritual ego that is even harder to detect because it sounds holy. True practice keeps cutting ego at the root by returning again and again to humility. Chiron began to add another element to his sadhana: service. The teacher said devotion without compassion is incomplete. If you truly connect to sacred energy, it should soften you toward living beings. It should make you less self-centered. It should increase your willingness to help without needing recognition. So Chiron started volunteering at a food distribution center once a week. He did not announce it. He simply went, lifted boxes, listened to people, smiled, cleaned, left. At first, he thought this was separate from sadhana. Then he realized it was the heart of sadhana. Because while serving, his ego had no stage. His mind could still be impatient, still judgmental, still proud, and each time those states arose, he could see them and release them. Service became a mirror for practice. It showed him where he still clung. It showed him where he still wanted praise. It showed him where he still feared being insignificant. He began seeing that divine touch is not only found in meditation. It is found in moments when you choose compassion over convenience, when you choose honesty over image, when you choose patience over control. Now, let us connect this to karma in a very practical way. Chiron noticed that before practice, his default reaction to stress was irritation. He would speak sharply. He would rush. He would blame. After months of practice, the default began to shift. Not perfectly, but noticeably. He would still feel irritation, but he would catch it sooner. He would apologize faster. He would not store resentment as long. He would sleep with less heaviness. That is karma shifting. A change in daily mental habit is not small. It is destiny changing direction. Chiron asked the teacher once, "Is destiny fixed?" She said, "Destiny is the name people give to long habits they do not understand. When you change your causes, your effects change. But changing causes requires consistency, not drama." This is why she called sadhana a secret. The secret is not hidden words. The secret is repetition. The secret is returning. The secret is showing up when you feel nothing. The secret is refusing to make excuses for your own ignorance. The secret is letting the heart be trained like a wild animal that becomes gentle through patience. Now, I want to share a scene that captures the mystery of divine touch in the most human way. Chiron is walking home one evening. The city is noisy. People are rushing. Someone bumps into him and does not apologize. The old Chiron would have cursed inwardly, tarried anger for blocks. But now he pauses and looks at the stranger face as they move away. He sees tension, fatigue, hunger for something. He thinks, this person is suffering too. He feels compassion rise unexpectedly. Not because he forced it, but because practice softened the reflex of hatred. In that moment, he feels a quiet warmth in his chest. It is not flashy. It is not a vision. But it feels like being touched by something larger than ego. Something that does not need to win. Something that simply wishes well. He realizes that might be the deepest divine touch. The moment you stop being a machine of reaction and become a living heart. Now, let us bring this home to you. If you are drawn to deity connection, ask yourself what you truly want. If you want power over others, you will be trapped. If you want control of the future, you will be anxious. If you want to feel special, you will be hungry. But if you want awakening, wisdom, and inner freedom, then devotion can become a beautiful path. Here is the simplest way to approach it without falling into superstition. Keep your practice consistent. Keep your intention clean. Keep your ethics strong. Keep your heart soft. Measure progress by kindness and stability, not by sensations. Use any experience as a reminder to become more humble, not more proud. Let your practice reduce harm in your speech, your choices, your relationships. Then your destiny will change. Not because you forced the universe, but because you stopped feeding the causes of suffering. Chiron's life did not become perfect. He still faced loss, stress, and uncertainty. But he discovered something better than perfect. He discovered a center that could meet imperfection without collapsing. He discovered that practice is protection. Not protection from life, but protection from the worst enemy, unconsciousness. In the end, that is what connects every serious spiritual path. The movement from sleep to wakefulness, from clinging to release, from self-obsession to compassion, from fear to clarity. Thank you for being here with me. Now I want to invite you to share your thoughts and your own experiences. Have you ever felt a moment that you would call a touch? A moment when your heart softened in a way you could not explain? Or have you ever practiced devotion and noticed it changing your behavior in daily life? Leave your story in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and support this space by adding your voice so we can keep exploring awakening, wisdom, karma, compassion, practice, and destiny together. Until next time, keep your practice steady, keep your heart honest, and remember that the deepest mystery is not a supernatural event. The deepest mystery is a human heart becoming free.